So Takiwa are the sponsors of the Roadsports Series, which is coming up next here at Croft Circuit. And that's just as soon as the cars from the previous race have been recovered. On to row 7, and we get the 187 car of Brad Kaler, the Audi RS3. Next to him is Scott Parkin in the Diesel. So 45 minutes on the clock then. The safety car is about to pull into the pit lane for this rolling start. Pit stops, don't forget, 15 to 30 minutes into this race. There'll probably be 60 seconds at least, 70 seconds for a handful of the cars. And it should be a very interesting race in prospect. The safety car now pulls in, so it's down to Hampson to control the pace. Red lights on, they go out, and away we go for the first Takiwa Roadsports race of the season. And heading down towards the first corner, it's Hampson in the lead. Oh, but he takes a lot of curb there, and he spins, takes out Daniel Sylvester. He's going to rejoin the circuit, but it causes other cars to scatter left and right. That was all a little bit messy, Josh.
I thought some of these drivers were using this as a test session for tomorrow. It looked like that at times there. So it is 27 that leads. That's Mark Grice. Up to second is coming in Jones in the BMW Compact. And there, though, I'm afraid, it's a very damaged front end to Matthew Hampson's car. That could have got a lot worse, though. Daniel Sylvester there in the Audi TT really saved it quite well as he was sliding across the circuit. But here come the leaders through the cement dust. There through the S's. Into third position has come Rob Baker out in the Volkswagen Golf this year. And that area Motorsport developed car from a road car. It's even got the sat-nav still in it, I noticed. When I had a look around that car this morning. So great to see newly developed cars out there for this year. And went down in 6th position. Rob Baker and Cole Swift, 3-time Enduro champions. So we'll see how they get on. They've made a good start out ahead there of the Sayat of Colin Gillespie, who's in P4. Then Luke Handley, who's upgraded his Golf to Class A specification for this year. Another multiple Club Enduro Class champion. And then completing the top 6 that got away is Nigel Greensall in his BMW M3. So it's 6 cars for the lead across the line. And a challenge for the lead. Here comes Ian Jones around the outside of Mark Grice. He's got lots of power in that BMW Compact. Can he get the car stopped at the end of the straight? He can. So into P1 goes the oldest car by far in this group.
Yeah, and got one in the pits as well. That's the 701 car of the Wilmots. That's out of the race, but no, great effort that from Ian Jones down the straight and power past Mark Grice and into the lead of the race then. Rob Baker there in 3rd place in that Golf. Golf's 3rd and 4th at the moment then. There is the 151 car, which is slowing that of Colin Gillespie.
Yes, he was slowing down towards Tower. That car is going to have to cut back to the pit lane. Yes, it is. So that's a reliability issue we're seeing with one of the Sayats. Don't know if he got involved in it on the first corner or not, but Colin Gillespie is limping very much so back to the pit lane. Now you can see the Scottish racer and Marshall might need to give him a bit of a hand, I think, to get to the pit lane.
Yeah, gravity just about what he saw. There's a very slight down slope to the pit lane entrance from where they are, but let's have a look at some on-track battling. That's the 46 car going through. That's Jack Wright in the Golf up on the inside of the 33 car. Matt Green also going past the number 33 Honda Integra of Liam Collins as well.
Looks like the Sayat that pitted has got some sort of spillage in the car. There's lots of cloths being put into the passenger side of the car. The driver's spilling in the cockpit. Anyway, let's have a look at the lead battle, because there's that new area Motorsport Volkswagen Golf of Rob Baker, making a much tighter line than a type of car he's very used to, because he's been racing a Sayat over the last few years, and at the moment he's trying to chase down the Sayat there of Mark Grice. 380 brake horsepower, big turbocharged Volkswagen Golf there then for Rob Baker, with his teammate now just behind him, Luke Handley. So for the last 3 years, Rob Baker's won Class A Club Enduro, Luke Handley's won Class B. They're both in the same class this year, and they look pretty similarly paced in the early stages of this one. Nigel Greensall just behind, and catching them, I reckon, is Josh Lawton in his Honda Civic.
Yeah, absolutely right. So keep an eye on Josh, number 10, started 7th, is 6th. Hampson has made it into the pit lane, by the way. Is that the leader a bit out of shape coming out of Sunny there, maybe? Ian Jones is the back of the lead that we're watching. Mark Price there in second, Rob Baker with them as well.
Smoky, the compact as it was braking down here into the complex. Still got yellow flags as the marshals retreat to the coast after pushing the Seat into the pit lane. Ian Jones, did he get hit under yellow flags?
I think, yes, there was some contact. Ian Jones has got his hand out of the window there, saying, what on earth's going on under yellow flags? I'm getting a nudge there from Mark Grice. Mark Grice is still there in second place, with Rob Baker right behind him. The Mazda there has just been right out of the pit lane, hasn't it?
And while he was being lapped, Nigel Greensall got up ahead of Luke Handley as they went through Hawthorne.
Let's have a look at a replay of that incident up there at the hairpin just a moment ago, Josh.
This is yellow flags already, so they're already in yellow flags here, which means drivers need to slow down, be prepared to stop, and Ian Jones was doing that, and the rear end of the car got lifted up there by contact. So I suspect race control will be looking at that one.
Right. Anyway, racing continues here at Croft, and we are on lap 3.
Josh Lawton was catching. He's done the fastest lap of the race. He's a second quicker than anybody else. So the Honda Civic there, car number 10, is the quickest car in the race. The driver from Hull, local-ish to Croft Circuit here, the ex-Time Attack racer in this 1994 Honda Civic EG with a K24 supercharged engine. Lots of power in that car. All over the back now, Luke Handley, as they battle over 5th place. Yellow flags are in this time, so they can race this time through the complex. And Ian Jones, therefore, brakes later, turns into the hairpin, not under pressure from Mark Rice. Part of one of their cars is in the middle of the road as they turn their way out of the hairpin. Still in 3rd place is Rob Baker, and then up to 4th, Nigel Greensall looks quicker than all of them, perhaps unsurprisingly, the 8th historic racer there in P4. Then a gap back to Luke Handley, who's still ahead of Josh Lawton, who's all sideways over the curbs, and he saves it. A big moment there.
Was indeed a big moment. So here is the race leader, Ian Jones still, 6 tenths to the good, 4 tenths I should say to the good at the beginning of the lap. He's being chased by Mark Rice here. There's Nigel Greensall looking as if he's going to try and make a move there on Rob Baker as well in that BMW. Nigel Greensall raced all kinds of different cars over the years. There's the Gillespie car that's made its way into the pit lane, and it's the Baker car there to kind of gap back there a little bit further to Luke Handley in 5th position. Just about 7 minutes of this race so far. We've had quite a lot of action already packed into those 7 minutes. Here's the leader, who is surely going to catch up with some traffic in the form of the race 2 Mark Lane Honda Civic.
Side by side for the lead into the hairpin, because round the outside is trying Mark Rice. Ian Jones here, you can see he's on the inside of the Seat there as they run side by side through the circuit. Through the corner, Ian Jones doesn't give a huge amount of room to the Seat driver, who's all over the grass. He's going to lose momentum, lose positions there. So around the outside of the hairpin tends not to work here, of course, particularly when there isn't that much room given for second place. Traffic just about coming into effect there, so Nigel Greensall wasn't able to lunge up the inside of Rob Baker, which he gave a little bit of a look to do.
It also meant that Mark Rice has been delayed getting past that back marker as well, so he's going to lose ground there as well to Nigel Greensall, so he's lost quite a few car lengths. So it's BMW leading, Ian Jones, Volkswagen Golf in second now, Rob Baker, BMW in 3rd, Nigel Greensall, and the car off there is number 25. That's the car that Leslie Charnocker was sharing, but it is looking in quite a bad way, that, Josh.
We're going to stop and try and get that going by the looks of things. I think it's Rob Smith who he's sharing with ex-historic Formula Ford racer, but I'm not sure if Rob is going to get a go. Looking at the Porsche there for Les, ex-Ferrari Challenge racer, turning into in a Porsche, but that Porsche's a little bit beaten up now.
Just checking the detail of the start drive there. I think it was indeed Rob starting the race, looking at it, so we'll see about that. Anyway,
two of the leaders, still Rob Baker ahead of Nigel Greensall, they're still both behind Ian Jones. They turn their way here through and out of the hairpin. This is all looking very competitive though, isn't it? Because Luke Handley's not that car behind, then Josh Lawton in 6th, then Dan Sylvester in 7th. There can't be much more than a second between each of those cars, so it's very competitive indeed, the first 10 minutes of racing here in the Tigiwa Roadsports Series. That big popping moments for a few drivers as they go through there. It looks like Daniel Sylvester's Audi team didn't get too badly damaged in that first lap incident he was involved in. Top speed pretty close, 1.4 seconds between Jones, Baker and Greensall as they go down towards Tower.
As Greensall had a big look down the inside of Baker for second place there as they went into Tower Corner, couldn't quite make it work. Now of course all of the, actually the first 4 drivers, the first 4 cars all have 2 drivers in, so we're interested to see how things pan out in the second part of the race. Are the second drivers going to be as quick as the drivers in first? We'll have to see about that. We'll be having the pit lane open in the next 5 minutes or so for the first time.
Yeah, that's right. So, there's the Porsche, isn't it? Yeah, just out of Sunny's. So in the parked up, I think, for a marshal post. That's steaming away. Mark Rice has caught Baker and Greensall. More cars in trouble though. And
Charles Kirk, isn't it?
Next Super Cooper. On his way back to the pit lane. Meanwhile, for second place, it's pretty much side by side up across the line. This time, Nigel Greensall's on the outside line, heading up towards Clairvaux. I think BMW's got the power, just one of those big turbocharger on the Volkswagen Golf. Nigel Greensall is able to slot through then into second position. Didn't qualify perhaps as well as he would like. I noticed Greensall went out first, but it went a bit damper, so perhaps that might be something to do with it. But now he's using his pace to claw his way now into second position, and he's actually in Jones. Can he hang on to second position first of all?
Yeah, because he's not getting away from Rob Baker yet. Mark Rice right with them as well in the Cupra. They're turning their way around Tower Corner. It's just letting Ian Jones start to build up a small lead here. It's 1.3 seconds at the start of the lap. Class B, that's being led by Scott Parkin. He's 8th overall in number 89. Problems there for Rory Melia in that Mini, number 191. Looks like he is out of the race. A great shame for Rory Melia then, and he is the other half of Sammy Bowler, who's also in this race, of course.
Yes, I think Rory had a good shoot on his car in quali. Well, Sammy Bowler got away up to 20. Class B Mini. Here's the battle for second, third and fourth through the complex. A few minutes till the pit window opens. And this is Ian Jones through the traffic, so we've got a full away. All clear from Nigel Greensall, who runs out wider than Rob Baker, but tightest line of all is with the Sayat of Mark Bryce. But I don't think Bryce has got a good enough exit there to challenge up towards Clairvaux. So the gap is 2.4 seconds now then from Ian Jones back to Nigel Greensall, who would suggest their co-drivers may not be as quick as who's in the wheel now. Into the pits has come down Sylvester, and there's a tyre on the grass in front of us. So whether those two facts are related, I'm unsure.
Yeah, not quite sure where that's come from. See if we can figure that out as the race goes on. Pit window 2.5 minutes away from open. I don't think we've got a chance to finish the sentence. On Matt Creed is that leads Class C in 19th position overall, as we are watching
Class B leader.
Yes.
Scott Parkin, who's up to 7th overall now. He's done a really good run. He's only a few hundredths off of Rob Horston's lap record. There's an Audi just ahead of him, the RS3, who was behind him. So I think Scott Parkin's lost actually a couple of places at the start of the lap. Firstly to the Sayat started by Andrew Rabb, but also to Brad Kaler in this Audi RS3. That's maybe something to make the debut today.
Yeah, so Brad Kaler up in the position there. So we are working at 9 of this race.
Greensall's had a quick lap over here. He's much closer to Ian Jones and much further ahead of Rob Baker. So we're seeing Nigel Greensall, who was 2.4 seconds behind, set a fastest lap of the race as they go up across the line now then. And as the time his screen refreshes, he has a 1 minute 28.40. New fastest lap then for Nigel Greensall, who's pulled away from this battle for third with Rob Baker and between Mark Rice.
Okay, so we'll see if he can get on terms with the race leader then. Bound to be a possibility, one would think. There's Mark Price flashing his lights at Ron Baker. Is he going to try and go through here at Tower Corner? Certainly looked like he intended to, and he took back in behind. Ron Baker just seems to be a little bit quicker through the corners, is the Cupra of Mark Price, as is the Golf of Ron Baker, which he hands over his car swiftly. Second part of the race. 45th, a long gap back to Luke Handy now in 5th position, 51 car, who is only just ahead of that Josh Lawton Honda, number 10.
I think Dan Sylvester might have gone back out into the race, so I do wonder if that was his tyre. We saw go adrift out of the complex. Meanwhile, we watch a very, very sideways Ginetta that's spun. That's the 101 car, which is Andy Shepherd in his Ginetta G40, a more standard machine. We had a big spin there coming out of the S's, and hopefully he didn't connect with anything to be able to get back going, but we can continue to watch this
side
battle.
by side for the lead though as they head down towards Clervaux Corner now, and it's Nigel Greensall that's taken the lead. He's got ahead of Ian Jones now, so number one, where are we? We'll get the numbers right in a minute, but it is now the 40 car that's taken the lead. It was just ahead as they went over the line, ahead of the 117 car of Ian Jones in second place. They're 3 seconds clear of the next group of cars now, but on the straight, Nigel Greensall was just able to power past the BMW Compact of Ian Jones, which is in its own right quite quick in a straight line.
It's pretty impressive really what they've done, Martin Gadsby's done with that BMW Compact, isn't it, to be not that much slower than Nigel Greensall, who's such an experienced and rapid driver in a full M3.
That 101 Ginetta, which had the spin, is just driving down the pit lane, by the way, so it clearly was unscathed.
But this could be a pit stop too, if they want it
Yes.
to be, because we are into the pit stop window, so expect cars to potentially start pitting. There's Liam Crilly out there, back with us with the 750 Motor Club. He's in 12th position in his BMW Z4. We saw quite a lot of Liam Crilly in the past. He's just behind Johnny Mondays on the Civic and just ahead of James Birch in his Vauxhall Corsa. Now that Greensall's ahead, I wonder how much he might be able to pull clear. Have we got the first track limit penalty of the weekend here?
Yeah, and it's gone to the 117 car of Ian Jones, shown with Martin Gadsby, showing Gadsby's name on the timing screen there. Ian Jones is the driver out there at the moment. He's come across the line that time, and he has had 1.69 seconds behind Greensall, plus the 5-second penalty that will be added to the race time at the end of the race.
And that's one of the cars with a 10-second longer pit stop as well for the sequential gearbox. Jones and Gadsby pairing into the pit lane. Comes the Class B leader Scott Parkin. Brakes late at the 60 km/h marker. There he is in the pits. The Darkside Golf that did lead its class by, I think, about 20 seconds or so from Johnny Monday, who we saw a moment ago. There's the pit stop then, down in the pit lane.
Yeah, we're on board with Scott while this is all going on. Just 60 seconds. Stop under normal circumstances as a minimum. He's then with the number 89 car. As we're watching here, the Audi come towards us. That's the Brad Kaler car, 187. And he's got a head now of 92, which was Andrew Rath that started. That's Cooper that's just behind him. So another position made up there for Brad Kaler, number 187, who started 13th on the grid. He's now up inside. Well, it could actually be 5th. No, 6th. It is 6th position. That's the stand.
Race leader Nigel Greensall completes lap number 12 of this race as Jim Benson in car 59 into the pit. His Lotus Elite, he was in about 17th, I think, before he pitted. Also into the pits for a driver change is Jack Wright to hand over to I think his brother George in their Volkswagen Golf. They're at the commentary box end of the pit lane. It's Josh Lawton, one of our first front runners to come in out of 5th position. Josh Lawton, driven, or solo driven, on the Civic into the pits. Race lead gap, by the way, 1.2 seconds between Nigel Greensall and Martin Gadsby. Only a couple of seconds further back, Rob Baker on the last lap through traffic. Mark Grice lost out. He's a further 3 seconds behind Baker. And I'd suggest here with the driver changes, the lead car, by the way, is another one with a 10-second longer pit stop in sequential box. So I think the lead battle will be between Cole Swift and William Beach in the second half.
And that I think that might be always what it was going to be, given the different drivers that are going to be getting into the cars driven by Ian Jones and Nigel Greenstone as well. Possibly those were the quicker drivers, I think, in those two respective cars as well.
Yeah, absolutely right. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shapes out in the second half of this race. There's that battle between Brad Taylor and Andrew Raffin just went through shot. Here is Liam Crilly, who's just ahead of the Vauxhall Corsa we spoke about early on. James Birch is into the top dozen now. A really good effort this in the Vauxhall Corsa just behind the BMW Z4. Into the pit lane comes Ian Jones out of second position. The BMW Compact is in now to hand over the car owner Martin Gadsby. That's a good idea while the pit lane's quite empty.
Yeah. So this is actually the battle for second place in Class B as things stand, just going through there with Liam Crilly and James Birch going through shot at the Jim Clark S's.
Picks on one of our Class C front runners, Alex Richardson. He was second in Class C, a little way behind Matt Creed, who continues to lead the class. He set a new lap record a second under the lap record, Matt Creed, in the Renault Clio, 1:36.16. Blue flags waving for the slower Honda there into the complex. Liam Crilly then laps that Honda Civic of Dominic Barlow. Down to the pit lane with driver changes as Chris Stevens.
Yeah, I'm down at the Darkside team garage with Rob. So first of all, just tell us what happened with the TT. We saw it came in with no front left tyre.
Yeah, Danny had a little bit of contact early on with the BMW. It stayed out front for front ball.
Obviously a shame for his race, especially after qualifying so well, but you have got the B-class lead before the pit stop just now with Scott, so things are looking good there.
Yeah, hopefully Scott would say the B-class lead. Sell the RS3, just would rather get as well.
Thanks for the update. Ian, Josh, let's go back to you.
Thanks, Chris. And there is the car of Nigel Greensall, which is leading on the road at the moment then by about 3.5 seconds from Rob Baker in second place. It's Mark Rice in third. Luke Handley's just gone past our commentary box window, is in fourth position as we are approaching the halfway point, Josh.
In the pit stop, Josh Lawton is quite himself up ahead of Martin Gadsby, so good pit stop there from Josh Lawton. That could be a car for the podium, I would suspect, during the course of this race, and now he's got. Well, I was going to say he's got clear track, but the pit stop here is basically a whole lap, isn't it?
Yeah.
60 seconds later, about 30 seconds into hours, about a lap around this course. There's Luke Handley, who's lapping Sammy Bowler in her Mini. So Luke Handley goes through then the multiple Class B champion within Club Enduro. This upgraded Volkswagen Golf and other area motorsport car. There's Josh Lawton flashing his lights in his Honda Civic. I think, is that just behind Josh Lawton? Scott Parkin. So Scott Parkin has also made a good pit stop here. We just heard from one of his team members in the Darkside team in that Golf TDIs. Scott Parkin going well. So turn their way down. He's just behind the Class C leader, Matt Creed, who's set that lap record. More cars in the pit lane. That's a driver change. Andrew Raff to Phil Nibb, the Seat there. You can see number 92. You can see Andrew got out. We have to use the whole breadth of the pit lane past the garages here because of the size of the entry. You can see the cars parking at 45-degree angle. That's the regulation state. And there's the leader though, Nigel Greensall, now 4 seconds clear of Rob Baker. And into the pit lane, I think it's come Mark Rice. So we'll hand over to William Beach. So Beach will get in 27. Car that was off the track at one stage. Through the S's then goes Nigel Greensall. 4 seconds ahead of Rob Baker, lapping similar type of pace over the last few laps. There's actually Nettis, that went back out after a spin and early stop. Cleo out there as well, that's I think William Brown, his 182 model. Here we can see Chris Freeman, another of the area run Golfs, a little bit plainer liveried car. I think that car had a bit of a bash at Anglesey last year, so it's been rebuilt. Chris Freeman currently running in 6th position. That is a Class A car. like Baker and like Handley. Now, a pit stop done then with a Seat. Now, it will Beach going to be our leading pit stop, but yes, I think he is, because Josh Lawson just making his way through the complex, which is now under yellow flags, because the Ginetta has been off again, the G40, I think now in the hands of Rob Fenwick, has had it off in the Andrew Shepherd started Ginetta G40. So there it is, now with dust and grass falling out the bottom of that car.
Yeah, that's the 101 car. 89 is Scott Parkin, of course, who was leading Class B before the pit stops. Liam Frillian now is that leads Class B, although he will be soon into the pits because only 5.5 minutes left before the pit lane window closes. Matt Creed, our Class C leader, is now in as well. Here's Renault Clio 200, amongst other drivers who've made the decision to stop in the last few moments. So as the cars continue on, we've got Martin Gadsby car coming through, but we will head back down to the pit lane once again and to Chris Stevens.
So we just saw Mark Grice get out of the car and hand over to teammate William. So that's a very eventful first stint for you.
Yeah, it certainly was. At the opening few laps I had gear change issues, so 1 minute it wouldn't select, next minute it select 2 gears in a row, so I was having to do it manually on the stick, and then I got the gear sticks working afterwards, and then I just had a little tap into the last turn with the BMW in front of me, and then the next lap or 2 laps down I was going around the outside and we didn't leave me really much room, and I ended up going on the grass. So yeah, it was very eventful, yeah.
And we expected that battle to continue throughout the rest of the race?
Yes, I would think so, yeah. It took me a bit to get the tyres clean again, so I lost a bit of grip, and then it's just a matter of dealing with the back markers who are having their own race. So obviously we have got to try and find a way around them, and depending on where you catch them, is depending on whether you lose ground or gain ground on the one in front.
And of course you guys are also out tomorrow in the Club Enduro as well, so how much are you trying to protect the car and not get any damaged panels or ruin the car for tomorrow's race?
Yeah, that's it. The last thing we want to do really is have the mechanics working all night, fixing the car and the damage, so we've just got to take that in mind. But with it being the first race of the season as well, we sort of want to get a feel of what it's going to be like tomorrow, because quite a few of them around us, the Baker car, they're all in the same race tomorrow, so we have an idea of what's going to happen, but we've got 2 hours to do it tomorrow.
Well, thanks for chatting to us, Mark. Guys, as you can see, it's an absolute hive of activity in the pit lane here, so let's go back upstairs to you.
Yeah, and right behind you, Chris, we've got Nigel Greensall into the pits in the number 40 car to hand over to James Collins, so you might be able to have a chat with him in a moment. Josh?
So the car that's racing against Will Beach is just making its way up towards the hairpin now, so can Will Beach be our lead in pit stop, get out ahead of James Collins? We know the BMW has the longer pit stop to serve, and it's, yes indeed, it's going to drop behind, isn't it?
Yeah, so Grice goes past the Collins car now, so Collins car is just pulling away from its pit stop, and it's going to be 15 seconds ahead of the Mark Grice Will Beach car there. So that is for the lead of the race. I think Rob Baker's still staying out, isn't he, in the lead of the race, in number 1 at the moment, Josh?
So is Luke Handley, so is Chris Freeman, so this must be an area of motorsport strategy, how to run this, but they're going to have to pit on the next lap or so, aren't they, because the pit window shuts in 2.5 minutes, so therefore maybe squeeze 1 more in, but no more than that. So Rob Baker's going to get a lot of the driving today.
Dan Sylvester's back in for the pits again, so this will be for his mandatory stop this time, won't it?
Yeah, because he was just a couple of minutes too early with the tyre issues. Letting us know it was from that car. I did wonder. The tyre fell off and then he was straight into the pit lane, basically. Chris Stevens is busy down the pit lane. He's finding more drives.
Well, I'm in the pit lane with Nigel, who just got out of the car. You seem to really be in the thick of the action in the early stages of the race.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm not quite sure what happened as they came out of the first corner. There was a few cars that were involved, and I was just being really cautious and careful. My prime bet this afternoon is to get James, my co-driver, car owner, So it's James Collins. He needs to finish the race to get a signature on his licence. And it's his first season of racing, so we're just trying to build his spirits up and build it up. But everyone was getting a little bit crazy down into the first corner. So fortunately I managed to avoid all of that. And then just took the time to pick them off one at a time. Really pleased. James and his team have done a great job on the car, and it's a pleasure to drive it.
Oh, it certainly looks very fast out there. Where do you think you can end up?
No idea at the moment. We've got a bit of a gear shift issue at the moment, where when I'm shifting up, it's getting neutrals and stuff. So that's quite intermittent. So I've briefed James when he got out there. He's a very smart, intelligent driver. So I've said to him, just take your time. We're not worried about where we finish off. The main thing is to get to the finish of the race and have fun.
Well, absolutely. Well, we wish you all the best. And Ian, just before we go back up to you, I just thought I'd let you know that there are some spots of rain just starting to come down. I can feel them on the back of my neck and the palm of my hands. Not making the tarmac wet just yet, but certainly something to look out for.
Well, we weren't expecting rain this afternoon. Pit lane window is now closed, and in the nick of time, Rob Baker did make it in there, but also he's picked up a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits during the course of this race so far. He's handed over to Carl Swift now, but that car's suffering a 5-second penalty, Josh.
He's got out ahead of Will Beach, probably by about 5 seconds,
Ooh.
I'd suggest. So that's going to be interesting to see who has the pace, who gets the best of the traffic. And at the end of this lap, we'll be able to give a proper rundown of the order. There's James Collins in one of his first races. I think he and Nigel Greenstall was competed in the first day of the British Motorsport season at the end of February. A bit warmer here today at Croft, so we'll see how James gets on. He's done a lap time within 4 seconds of Nigel Greenstall's best, so that's not a bad effort. I think he's got the flashers on permanently, which all truck drivers will love. No, it's not again, haven't they?
Yeah.
So there's James Collins. So I think he's inside the top 6 and probably around 4th. Chris is busy manning the pit lane. He's got more people to talk to.
I'm joined now by Rob Baker from the #1 area Motorsport car. Now, Rob, of course, big news for you this year is that you've got a brand spanking new car out there. So how's it performing so far?
Well, it's actually one of our Class B goals from last year that we brought to Class A, and we've only had one dry day testing, so we booked onto this to get some dry running and some data and see what we can improve. But the racer in me made me go after positions, and I think we come in P2 as people in front of me overtaking under yellows P1, and so I don't know what's happened with it. I haven't looked at the timing screen, but car feels good for straight out of the box. We've had one dry test day this year, so pretty happy with it.
And we expecting the same performance in the Club Enduro tomorrow?
Yeah, well, it'll be at Club Enduro tomorrow. Like I say, we're kind of using this as a test, but obviously you want to win, don't you? So that's what we'll go for.
Absolutely great. Well, Carl's out there in the car at the moment. How do you think he's going to end up by the end of the race?
Hopefully the car felt good when I brought it into him. I don't know where other people were in pit stops, but we'll be happy with anything, to be honest. It's the first time the car's raced at this power, so we'll be happy with top 5 in general. So anything better than that's a bonus.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to us. Ian, Josh, let's go back up to you.
Yeah, but it's not good news for Rob Baker and Carl Swift, because their penalty is now a 15-second penalty. It's not just 5 seconds. So this is the order as things stand before we take penalties into account. Rob Baker and Carl Swift, #1, lead on the road by 5 seconds, but have a 15-second penalty. Second is 27. That's Will Beach now, having taken over from Mark Price. Car 27, as I say. Third is number 51, Luke Handley. Fourth is number 40, that's James Collins and Nigel Greenstall. That car has a 5-second penalty. Fifth is the 187 car of Brad Kaler. Sixth is number 10, Josh Lawton. Seventh in leading Class B is number 89, Scott Parkin. Eighth, number 4 is Chris Freeman, another driver with 15 seconds at penalties. Ninth is number 92, that's the Phil Nibb and Kraft Southland Euro Cup car. And 10th is number 12, Liam Trilly, who's second in Class B. And in Class C, at the moment, is it still Matt Creed that is leading there? Just scrolling down the order, and yeah, it is Matt Creed. But he has a 5-second penalty, but it shouldn't drop him back in the positions as things stand, Josh.
As long as he doesn't exceed track limits again, because that penalty will get larger pretty quickly. There's not that many places you can exceed track limits in Croft. There's a lot of penalties being dished out in this race. This corner is particularly prone to it though. You run wide out of the Jim Clark S's and run off the road. That tends to be where you get it. New fastest lap, new lap record I think, yes, for Dan Sylvester. Despite that contact at the beginning and obviously a pit stop to change the tyre, but Dan Sylvester a new lap record of 1 minute 28.08 in his Audi TT TFSI. So it's a long way down the order, but that car's got good pace.
It certainly does. He'll be maybe improving on 16th position, but he's not going to get towards the sharp end of the field. It looks like at the moment it could be sort of track limits penalties that decide things. I know that Rob Baker in the interview there was suggesting that there may have been some misdemeanours with drivers overtaking under yellow flag as well, so possibly there'll be some issues for the clerk of the course to look at after the race as well. There may be some penalties applied. So we'll see if the order on track is how similar that is to the order once the classification comes out.
James Collins is within a couple of seconds of Nigel Greenstall's lap times now, and he's starting to catch Luke Handley for third overall, though they have got this track limit penalty themselves, haven't they? But James Collins doing a good job, I would suggest there. So Nigel has been coaching him, and whenever Nigel talks, he always sounds so enthusiastic about everything, doesn't he? And just like he was last week at Donington again today. There's Johnny Monday back racing with us, doing some C1 racing with his mate Chris Freeman over the last couple of years. He's back out in his Honda Civic, he's in the top dozen, and he is in fourth in Class B, but not far behind James Birch, who's third, and Liam Crilley, who's second. So second, third, and fourth in Class B, pretty close to one another. There's Dan Sylvester, the fastest driver on the circuit. He's unlapping himself at the moment as he goes down towards Tower. Chris said it was raining a few minutes ago. The sun's out now. The rain was nothing like we had on Monday, so that's pleasing, I'm sure, for everybody, and now the weather is restored.
Yeah, sunshine is good, which is good.
Josh Lawton, though, was doing well in the first part, and dropped back in the pit window area of the race, didn't he, down to 6.
Yeah.
But he's only a few seconds behind Brad Taylor. We'll see if he can catch. Neither of those drivers have got penalties.
That's right. So it is the 6th car for Sylvester that we're looking at the moment.
One of the front runners in Class B is making an unscheduled stop. It's the Vauxhall, James Bird.
From 12th position overall, and I think it was 3rd in class at the time we went in. So he's heading into the pit lane, unfortunately for him.
8.5 minutes to go. The gap on the road, 3.6 seconds. We know the penalty that overhangs Rob Baker's car. So in reality then it will Beach who leads the way in the capture run Sayat. There's Josh Lawton though in that supercharged Honda Civic. Time attack machine, lots of aero on that machine. Rear wing as well. Josh Lawton then, the 26-year-old from Hull, makes his way through. We watch Dan Sylvester then, who's well actually he's in 16th place now, but he's soon going to gain more positions, I would think. As he turns his way there through the S's, managed to unlap himself against Brad Kaler, I think, recently. From 5th place, and that is a partial position. I think he goes up the inside of Robert Andrade, who's making his racing debut this weekend, the driver from Wolverhampton in the ex-Bruce Winfield Sayat, who was a race winner last weekend, Snefton in TCR UK.
Robert Andrade, who's done some sprinting and time attack before this, being run by Matty Taylor for Robert. There is Sylvester then, the fastest man in this race, albeit in 16th position overall. Now we're taking a look at the 51 class. Luke Handley in 3rd position. He's about 4 seconds ahead on the road of car number 40, which is James Collins, since he's taken over the green BMW from Nigel Greenstall.
Yeah, they just lapped the Janetta we spoke about earlier, the ex-Rothko car, now in the hands of Matthew Tidmarsh. Final running a 2.5 litre Duratec engine. They're making their way through. 6.5 minutes to go. There's Martin Gadsby. Where's he dropped to? He dropped up to 13th. Yeah, he's of that last lap at least, and the best part 10 seconds a lap slower than Ian Jones was doing in that car earlier. And that is the position, isn't it? Dan Sylvester behind him is, I think, pretty quickly going to get the Audi up ahead of the BMW Compact. Not an easy car to drive, that I wouldn't think, the Compact, with all that power, much more power than it was designed to have. But driven very well in the first part by Ian Jones. There's Sylvester, who I suspect is ahead now and into 13th position. Yes, he is.
Yeah, heading into the complex once again. Just under 6 minutes of the race left to go. There's the trouble 75 Android going through as well. So 3.84 seconds separating first and second at this point of the race, though. That's Carl Swift and Will Beach, but Swift has got that 15 seconds penalty that will be added to his time, so he's some way from getting the win. He will be classified third as things stand, second I should say, as things stand, so she can get back to Luke Campbell in third position.
More penalties for Collins and Greensel BMW, they're up to 15 seconds now.
Scott Parkin, he's got 5 now, I'm not sure if we had before, but I don't think that's going to cost him the Class B. He's 7th overall and quite long ahead of Liam Trilly. Z4 Coupe, who's second in that class.
Matt Creed is the Class C leader, who's setting all that records, 1:35.32 now. And he leads the class by about 25 seconds over Sammy Bowler. So, oh no, she's Class B. So it's Alex Richardson, isn't it, who's second in Class C. Third is the Fenwick Shepherd car. Had the spin early on, the Ginetta, I think. Just go ahead of Will Brown, who's in third place. The top 3 in Class B, Parkin, Crilly, and Monday. We were at 26, just been completed by the race leader. There is Sammy Bowler, Class B, so she's in 19th position. And she's just been lapped, I think, by Dan Sylvester on his comeback drive. And 4 minutes of the race to go. The gap is still 3 seconds between the top 2, so they're very evenly matched, aren't they? Rob Bacon, Cole Swift versus Mark Rice and Will Beach. A car that's not in this race will be factoring tomorrow in with the car that was quickest in testing, I think, or one of the quickest cars, which was Joel Oswick, the Class C champion, who's upgraded to a BMW M4. I noticed it was one of the quickest cars in testing yesterday, so we have more cars to factor into the coming Euro picture. Now there's a Team Dynamics Audi that's entered as well. British touring cars join us over at the Road Club and National Progression. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. There's going to be a lot more cars to factor into what already has been a competitive race today.
It has indeed, and obviously Dan Sylvester in today's race is where is he up to now? 13th position. That missed the cap early on in the race. That's Matt Creech just going through our Class C leader, and that's our Class B second place car going through next, which is Philly from the BMW Z4. 3 minutes of the race left to go. There is the car that, as things stand, is going to take the win, not on the road, because it's still about 3 seconds behind Carl Swift, in fact 4 seconds or so behind Carl Swift. Now that's Will Beach in the P7 Cupra, and on the road still it's Carl Swift leading in that Golf. That's got those 15 seconds of track limits penalties. A moment there for number 14, that was John Munday in the Honda Civic. He on the brakes for Clervaux, but he got the car around the corner.
He's catching Liam Crilly for second, so that's why he's pushing on for second in Class B, I should say. So there's the BMW Z4 ahead, there's Johnny Munday in the Honda. So that is a potential gap to watch over the last couple or so laps of this race. He come down pretty significantly on the last lap. There's Luke Handley, he's there still in third place. He's 24 seconds behind the leader, 7 seconds ahead of James Collins, who's being taught by Brad Kaler in the Audi. And there's Handley again, there's who's going to become our race leader after the penalties are applied. Will Beach in the Sayat. Here's Collins, who's got Sylvester trying to unlap himself, then just behind is Brad Kaler. Obviously Collins got this penalty, but on the road position, 4th and 5th, is pretty close to the end. leading. I think they're going to squeeze 2 more laps in potentially, aren't they?
Possibly so, yeah.
Let's see if it ends up being that way. 3.5 seconds between them on the road. Another personal best lap this time from Will Beach. They went through the 8 laps in this race. And here then is James Collins versus Brad Kaler, with Dan Sylvester between them, a lap behind. They head here down towards Clermont. More cars that will be battling it out tomorrow. James Collins has done a good job here. Again, only a couple of seconds a lap slower than Nigel Green. So he lets Sylvester go, so that means Kaler's going to be right behind him. At the end of the day, I guess it doesn't really matter if Kaler gets through, but it's good to see them side by side heading up towards Tower Corner. Nevertheless, is Kaler going to find a way past here?
I think he probably is. As Nigel Green's always saying, the priority for James is to get the race licence having finished the race. So I think it'd be wise not to defend too hard and risk an accident.
Here's the leader. This is Cole Swift. And they're going to get 1 more lap, I think. They go across the line, yeah, 1 lap to go.
No checkered flag goes out. Checkered flag does wave, in fact. It is right to touch and go. So the win on the road goes to Carl Swift, but it will be, in fact, Will Beach and Mark Grice that will be classified as the winner, because they don't have the 15 seconds penalty that Rob Baker and Carl Swift do. So then I think Luke Handy's going to cross the line now in 3rd place, and it will be 3rd place.
Brad Kaler dived up the inside of James Collins in the final corner, so he did get past him on the road, but only just.
So I think that's everyone home now, so shortly we'll be able to bring you the provisional results of that race. Of course, this is before all the penalties will necessarily have been applied, but there you can see on the roads at least Rob Baker, Carl Swift, the winners on the road, but they've got 15 seconds to be added to their time, so that will drop them to 2nd behind number 27 Mark Rice and William Beach. 3rd, number 51 Luke Handley. 4th, Brad Kaler in 187. 5th is going to be number 40. That's the car of James Collins and Nigel Greenswell, but they'll be actually behind Josh Lawton once the times are made. So number 10, Josh Lawton will be 5th, 40 Collins and Greenswell 6th. Scott Parkin, 7th, number 89, winning Class B.